The real-time real estate segment today being brought to you by rsrmoney.com, rsrmoney.com. Don't let the latest home price headlines confuse you, and it's easy to do. Based on what we're hearing in the news about home prices, you may be worried they're falling. But here's the thing, the headlines aren't giving you the full picture. If you look at the national data for 2023, home prices actually showed positive growth for the year. While this varies by market, and while there were some months with slight declines nationally, those were the exception, not the rule. The overarching story is that prices went up last year, not down. Let's dive into the data to set the record straight. 2023 was the return to more normal home price growth. If anything, last year marked a return to more normal home price appreciation. To prove it, here's what usually happens in residential real estate. In the housing market, there are predictable ebbs and flows that take place each year. It's called seasonality. It goes like this. Spring is the peak home buying season when the market is most active. That activity is usually still strong in the summer, but begins to wane toward the end of the year. Home prices follow along with this seasonality because prices grow the most when there's high demand. If you're watching us on ronsiegelradio.tv, any of our socials, or the ABC News and Talk AM 1490 video feed, you are seeing a chart that shows seasonality, and we've taken 49 years average monthly price movement. And we look at the percentage change month over month. And we did that from 1973 to 2022, not seasonally adjusted. We're not like the government and make the numbers say what we want them to say and call it a seasonal adjustment. And you can see on the chart how April, May, June are the best months for appreciation. Again, for nearly 50 years, home prices match typical market seasonality. At the beginning of the year, home prices grow more moderately. That's because the market is less active as fewer people move in January and February. Then as the market transitions into the peak home buying season in the spring, activity ramps up. That means home prices do too. Then as fall and winter approach, activity eases again and prices grow just at a slower rate. Now, let's layer that data that comes out for 2023 so far, shown in green on the chart if you're watching us on ronsiegelradio.tv. And we see the 49-year average versus the 2023 movement. So you can see in January, historically, prices go up 0.1%. Well, they went down 0.5% this time in January. But every other month, they're following the pattern, although we do see in March, April, and May, they were up more than the historic norms. And then in December, they were down a bit. Moving through the year in 2023, the level of appreciation fell more in line with the long-term trend for what usually happens in the housing market. You can see that in how close the green bars come to matching the blue bars, again, if you're watching us on our socials, or you can watch it on the replay. But the headlines only really focused on the two bars outlined in red. Here's the context you may not gotten that can really put those two bars into perspective. The long-term trend shows it's normal for home prices to moderate in the fall and winter. That's typical seasonality. And since the 49-year average is so close to zero during those months, 0.1%, that also means it's not unusual for home prices to drop ever so slightly during those times. But those are just blips on the radar. If you look at the year as a whole, home prices still rose overall. What you really need to know, headlines are going to call attention to the small month-to-month dips instead of the bigger year-long picture. And that can be a bit misleading. Surprise, surprise, surprise. The media being misleading.
Surprise, surprise, surprise.
Just in case you're still worried home prices will fall, don't be. The expectations for this year is that prices will continue to appreciate as buyers re-enter the market due to mortgage rates trending down compared to last year. As buyer demand goes up and more people move at the same time, the supply of homes for sale is still low. The upward pressure on prices will continue. The bottom line, don't let home price headlines confuse you. The data shows that as a whole, home prices rose in 2023. If you have questions, you can go and look at what's going on in your market anytime you want to, and it's free to you. You can go to rsrlistana.com. rsrlistana.com. Yes, I know that's going to give you an Anaheim price a chart. But once you sign in there, you can put any zip code you want or as many zip codes as you want. And it's going to tell you a lot of activity of what's going on in the zip codes you put in there. Prices up, prices down, median prices, how many homes are available for sale, how many condos are available for sale, how long they're staying on the market, what's the rent in the area. It's all there. rsrlistana.com, rsrlistana.com. That's the real-time real estate segment brought to you by rsrmoney.com, rsrmoney.com.